Joe Gibbs Racing continues its winning ways in the NASCAR Xfinity Series as Kyle Busch picks up his second win of the 2021 NASCAR Xfinity Series season. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the Alsco Uniforms 50 presented by Cheddar Scratch Kitchen here at Texas Motor Speedway, and I have to say that while I didn't think the race is absolutely that bad, I didn't think it was that great, to be honest with you. It was just a classic NASCAR race overall that happened today at Texas Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into the race review. So starting on the pole, you had AJ Allmendinger on the inside and Justin Haley, who started on the outside. AJ Allmendinger was able to get the race lead, and he would lead quite a few laps. Then a few laps later, Brandon Jones was able to basically pass him and was able to basically pull away. Meanwhile, you had Kyle Busch, who started 14th in the race, moving his all the way up to the front. And by the time they got to the competition, yellow lap 20, basically Brandon Jones had to lead, but Kyle Busch was already up to second and was charging his way up on the restart. We go back racing on lap 26 after the competition yellow, which a lot of guys decided to stay out. And Brandon Jones would basically hold on to the race lead, but Kyle Busch was able to pass. But then Kyle Busch overdrove the corner basically within a few laps, and Austin Cindric was able to get the race lead, and he was able to pull away and win stage 1 here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Texas Motor Speedway. We see all basically the lead lap cars come down pit road, and Austin Cindric, who had the lead, lost a few spots on pit road. Meanwhile, Daniel Hemrick, who running second at time, who also got around Kyle Busch's, his car basically became tied at the time. Austin Cindric lost a ton of spots, and Daniel Hemrick was able to win the race off pit road. Daniel Hemrick was able to take the race lead on the ensuing restart, but Kyle Busch, a few laps later, was able to get the race lead. Meanwhile, quite a few laps later, around lap 61, about halfway through the second stage of the race, Jeff Burton has some contact from Josh Berry. Jeff Burton kind of checked up a little bit, and Josh Berry got into the back of him. Jeff Burton hit the inside wall extremely hard. Jeff Burton was able to continue on and continue racing throughout the day, but unfortunately, he would not have contention to win this race. And then we see a couple guys come down pit road. Brandon Jones, Brandon Brown, Brett Moffitt, and Jeff Burton all come down pit road. The rest of the field decided to stay out. We go back racing on lap 67, Kyle Busch being the race leader with Daniel Hemrick on the outside, and Kyle Busch was able to pull away and dominate and win stage 2 here at Texas Motor Speedway. We see all the cars come down pit road with Kyle Busch winning the race off pit road once again, and then Brandon Brown also made a gamble where he decided to take 2 tires and would actually restart 5th on his ensuing restart. We go back racing on lap 89 with Kyle Busch being the race leader, and he was able, and then Daniel Hemrick actually was able to get the race lead from Kyle Busch with some help from Austin Cindric. And then the lap later, we would see a crash take place between Matt Mills and Tanner Berryhill and Greg Gaulding on the front stretch. I don't know exactly what happened, but there was a really, really bad accident between those three that basically ensued. Greg Gaulding hit the infield wall really, really hard and got a lot of damage. Tanner Berryhill also got a lot of damage. They would follow the race. Matt Mills just went through the grass, and he would continue on this race, but the other two, unfortunately, fell out of this race. We go back racing at lap 98 after a long cleanup with Daniel Hemrick being the race leader of Kyle Busch, but then Kyle Busch on the ensuing restart was able to get the race lead, and Daniel Hemrick, who just really, really fell back on this restart as well, where he fell all the way back, Dave, and it was very, very difficult for him to recover in this race. Meanwhile, about 10 laps later in this race, we would see an incident between Stephen Parsons and Jeff Earnhardt. Jeff Earnhardt got into the back of Stephen Parsons, and both of them basically trailed down to the inside wall, and both wrecked their cars really, really bad. Jeff Earnhardt got a lot of damage. He would fall out of the race. Stephen Parsons, I believe, would continue on throughout this race as well. Then we would see all the cars come down pit road, and Kyle Busch lost the lead for a second on pit road, but then Kyle Busch just had better speed going through the pits, and he was able to actually win the race off pit road. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm really surprised Kyle Busch did not get a speeding penalty, because he was behind Justin Allgaier by a car length and literally passed Justin Allgaier on the pit stop. I'm very surprised with that, and I'm very surprised he won. Did not expect him to basically win the race off pit road by then. We go back racing on lap 116 with Kyle Busch being the race leader, but Justin Allgaier got a really, really great restart, and he was able to take the race lead off of turn number 2. Then, a few laps later, Colby Howard spun out going into turn number 1, really not getting a ton of damage. Of course, he was able to save and not get a ton of damage, but he basically would bring out the caution of this race. We go back racing on lap 27 in this race where Justin Allgaier basically had the race lead. Then Kyle Busch had the lead for a little bit. Then Justin Allgaier was able to get the race lead. And with around 35 laps to go, a very, very controversial call would happen. Brandon Jones would get a little bit sideways going into turn number 4. And honestly, he saved it. And NASCAR decided to throw a caution because of that. In my honest and sincere opinion, I think NASCAR made the wrong call right here. They should have kept the green. Why they did not keep it green when Brandon Jones clearly saved it? I understand he was low on speed, but the fact that he saved it and they threw the caution, I thought was a little bit ridiculous and a little bit silly by NASCAR to throw the caution right there, considering like I said, he saved it and didn't wreck the car entirely. He was able to continue on. I'm very surprised they basically brought out the caution. Again, manipulation, entertainment. We've seen that too many times this year. I mean, a few weeks ago at Charlotte, we had basically a truck that was stopped on the track, and NASCAR waited too long to throw the caution. Then now today, they threw the caution way too quickly, and a terrible call, in my honest opinion, to throw the caution right there. They should have kept it green. Brandon Jones able to save it. Because of this, on the ensuing restart, Justin Allgaier actually ended up losing the lead to Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch was able to pull away. And it looked like Kyle Busch was basically going to run away with the scene, even though he had about a second lead. At points, Justin Allgaier was trying to close on Kyle Busch, but Justin Allgaier was starting to lose some ground at the end. But with 10 laps to go, technically in the race, my Snyder would spin into the inside wall after some contact with Josh Berry. Josh Berry had caused the first incident, unfortunately, and unfortunately he got into my Snyder. I think my Snyder then were checking up a little bit, and unfortunately Josh Berry got into the back, and hopefully nothing is transpired from that incident. But basically, my Snyder would get into the inside wall stream, which is a great shame, as my Snyder was having a pretty solid run in the race, but unfortunately he would fall out of this race with a ton of damage. We only see a few cars basically come down pit road at times, some of them with damage, of course. And then we go back racing on lap 163, and Kyle Busch is able to get the race lead with some help from Austin Cindric. Noah Gragson was right behind Justin Allgaier. They're supposed to be teammates, by the way. Noah Gragson really did not at all help out Justin Allgaier. He basically lost a chance to get the race lead. But with 3 or 4 laps to go in this race, Harrison Burton would get sideways. It looked like he may have had a flat tire potentially going into turn number 1. He spun extremely hard into the outside wall, and this would bring out the caution. And this would lead to an overtime restart in this race. Kyle Busch would be on the inside, and Justin Allgaier would be on the outside. Now, Brandon Jones, of course, being Kyle Busch's teammate, he wasn't going to help Justin Allgaier, and of course, Justin Allgaier lost a ton of ground on the ensuing restart, and he was able to get back up to second, and he would try to charge after Kyle Busch, but he fell too far back, and it was not going to happen. Coming off the final corner, Kyle Busch wins the race in overtime and picks up his 99th career NASCAR Xfinity Series victory here at Texas Motor Speedway. This is also Joe Gibbs Racing's 15th career NASCAR Xfinity Series win as well as an organization, which ties Roush Fenway Racing for winning, I believe, 15 races. I think at another track, at Darlington, I think it was. They won 15 races over there. Joe Gibbs Racing now has 15 wins at Texas Motor Speedway. This also, I mentioned, is Kyle Busch's 99th career victory in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Kyle Busch is now 1 win away from picking up his 100th career victory. And he said this a couple years ago, that if he gets 100 career Xfinity Series wins, that he's going to retire unless Joe Gibbs basically offers him an opportunity to go race in a lower series. He's basically not going to be running anymore after he gets his 100th career win. He never said that about the Truck Series, but he said for the Xfinity Series, he will retire full-time racing Xfinity for the few races he does. He'll just run when Joe Gibbs wants in the race. So that is Kyle Busch's 99th career victory. In my opinion, I think Kyle Busch had to work for the win. I think he had the best car most of the day, but he had to work for the win. Justin Allgaier really gave him a run for his money, and he had to basically earn that win fair and square, and he won the race fair and square, in my honest opinion. So anyway, let's go ahead and go through the race results and then tell you my score of today's race. So Kyle Busch wins today's race. Justin Allgaier finished second. I will say Justin Allgaier was Kyle Busch's biggest competitor. If that caution doesn't come out with 35 to go, I think Justin Allgaier honestly runs away with the scene, to be honest with you. Maybe the Maya Snyder wreck happens. Who knows? But Justin Allgaier finished second. A very strong run for that team, considering last week he basically fell out of the race with an issue and quite a few laps down. He had to come back on the track. Nice recovery from him. Austin Cindric finished third. Very solid run for Austin Cindric. Ran top 5 all day. You love seeing him run top 5. Daniel Hemrick, man, finishes 4th. I want to see him win a race so bad. It looked like he was going to have a shot to win, but that restart really cost him with around 60 laps to go. That unfortunately cost him a shot to win, but he gets another solid top 5. Really good consistency for him. Brandon Jones finishes 5th. He led some laps today. Solid top 5 for him. Great run for him. AJ Allmendinger finished 6th. Not a bad run for AJ. I expect a little more from him. He actually thought he was going to be a contender today at Texas, but the car kind of fell off in college. Just didn't have a great day overall either, to be honest. Noah Gragson finished 7th. Noah Gragson finally completes the race, man. It seems like Noah Gragson can't catch a break, and unfortunately lost it on the restart, lost some ground on that ensuing restart, and never really had an opportunity, but he finishes 7th, gets a top 10, going to help him in the points for sure. Brett Moffitt, top 10. Really solid run for Brett Moffitt today. He ran top 10 quite a bit in today's race. He gets an 8th place finish. Justin Haley finished his 9th. Solid recovery from considering he really wasn't that great. To be honest, this is about the best he ran all day. But he gets a top 10. Good run for him. Michael Annett finishes 10th. Another top 10 run for him. Ryan Sieg with a solid top 15 run finishes 11th. Riley Herbst finishes 12th. Again, I'm going to keep mentioning this about Riley Herbst. I don't like ranting about Riley Herbst, but Riley Herbst is in the same car that Chase Briscoe won 9 races last year, and Riley Herbst has only had 2 or 3 top 5s and only 2 or 3 top 10s throughout the 2021 season. He should be performing way better with the same car. I know SHR struggled this year, but he's in the same damn car. It's the same song and dance every single week. He needs to get better. Brandon Brown finished his 13th. Brandon Brown ran top 5 quite a bit today, but I think the strategy kind of cost him. I think he came in late for 4 fresh tires, which kind of unfortunately took him out of contention. But a very solid top 15. We're also had a very funny video this week as well. Jeremy Collins finished his 14th. Landon Castle finished his 15th. Jay Buford finished 16th. So I'll run for both Landon Castle and Jay Buford, by the way. Josh Willing finished his 17th. There's some bad luck with that 92 car. Good as he gets top 20. Alex Bay finished his 18th, 19th place finisher Josh Berry after the issues. Like, he ran in top 10 quite a bit today, but then had issues on the track with some drivers, which is unfortunate to see. And David Starr finished his 20th in today's race. Tommy Joe Martins finished 21st, 22nd place finisher Ronnie Bassett Jr., 23rd place finisher Brandon Dover, 24th place finisher Ryan Vargas, solid top 25 for him, 25th place finisher Garrett Smith, the 26th place finisher Matt Mills, 27th place finish for Matt Jaskol, 28th place finish for Colby Howard, 29th place finish for Jesse Little, 30th place finish for Harrison Burton after the issues late in the race. Joe Graff Jr. finishes his 31st, 32nd place finish for Jeb Burton, 33rd place finish for Maya Snyder, 34th place finish for Jordan Anderson, who that team, unfortunately, they had a lot of high hopes coming into this race, looking to maybe get a top 20. Unfortunately, they had issues before the green flag dropped. They were able to come back on track course, 50 laps down. They were able to at least cover and get some points in this race, which is great to see. 7 Pars finishes 35th, 36th place finish for Jeff Garner, 37th place finish for Kyle Weatherman, 30th place finish for Greg Alling, 39th place finish for Tanner Berryhill, and finishing last in today's race is Bailey Curry here at Texas Motor Speedway. So anyway, let's go ahead and give you my score and talk about the race and give you my score of today's race. So overall, I thought that this was the best race we had today. I thought the Trucks race is okay, to be honest with you. I thought the Xfinity Series race was pretty solid, in my honest opinion, considering they had the PJ1 grip. I'll be honest, so I'm just not a fan of the PJ1 grip. I've complained about the PJ1 grip for quite some time. I think it makes it a one-group track. But when there was good racing on the track, like the battle between Justin Allgaier and Kyle Busch, like the battle between Brandon Jones and AJ Allmendinger, we saw some solid racing right there. But I still am not a fan of the PJ1 grip, to be honest with you. I think the racing honestly suffers from it. I think Texas Motor Speedway, it also doesn't help that that PJ1 grip has basically been, on the racetrack for so long and how extremely hot the conditions are, because like I said, this is the hottest NASCAR Xfinity Series race they've ever had, where it was like 95 degrees pretty much throughout the entire day. So you had that going on throughout the race as well. But, the points of the race kind of got boring and dragged out, but also you had some really solid racing. I'm going to give today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race from Texas Motor Speedway a 7 out of 10. Like I mentioned, there were good points in the race. I think the Xfinity Series definitely brings the best package when it comes to Texas, considering you have the PJ1 grip. You can have decent race overall. I'm just not a big fan of the PJ1 grip, but I'm going to give today's score a 7 out of 10 here at Texas Motor Speedway. So, anyway, that is going to be for today's NASCAR Xfinity Series review from Texas Motor Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notification on so you're notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support my page as well. Links description below for that, and comment your thoughts on today's race. What are your thoughts on today's race? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know your score in the comments below. And congratulate Kyle Busch on getting his 99th career victory in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great and awesome NASCAR content. Take care, everybody.